We ready? Okie dokie. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Y'all ready for chapel?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard some yes, some no. And I hope you guys are ready because I've been telling you guys one of my favorite missionary stories. Literally one of my favorite ones. Now, did you guys know I grew up in Mexico? Did you guys know that? I did. I know, Miss Yancy, you did. So I grew up in Mexico. Do you want to guess how long I spent there? Oh, don't put it out. I see Diana's hand. Guess how long?
20 years.
No, not 20. Oh, Miss Yancy.
40.
Oh, I'm not that old. No, I spent 16 years there. I went there when I was 2, and I came back for college so I can study to be a teacher. Like Miss Green and Miss Jackson and Miss Yancy and Miss Todd. Now, this story is about somebody who grew up on the mission field too. And there's some sad parts of the story, but there's some really happy parts. Now, I know a lot of you guys already know what you want to do when you grow up, right? Some of you might want to be teachers or preachers or firemen or police officers. I probably already said that. Or doctors. But let's see. We're going to talk about Ida Scudder. 3 knocks on the night. If we can get our slide to work. There we go. Nebraska farm life was a dream to 7-year-old Ida Sophia Scudder. There were the wide open fields to run through, the sweet smelling hay to play in, and the beautiful horse to take care of. These happy days on the farm almost made her forget what happened a year ago in India. Almost, but not yet. It was the children's eyes that would forever be etched in her memory. Those rows and rows of pain-filled eyes, all looking at her for relief. Eyes so weak they could scarcely be held open. Eyes full of hunger, longing to be satisfied. Even though Ida's basket was full of bread, she couldn't give them enough to really satisfy their hunger. Her mother had been clear about that. Only 1 chunk of bread, Ida. Just 1 chunk for each child. Otherwise, those in the back of the line will get nothing. I brought a little piece of bread. That's all she could give them. Do you guys know what a famine is?
No.
Oh, it's when there's no rain for a really long time and crops start to die and there's not food. It's a really hard thing. It was hard, but Ida obeyed her mother. 1 chunk of bread wouldn't satisfy these poor children suffering from India's famine, but at least their tummies wouldn't rumble quite so much. That evening, as Ida looked at her own dinner, she felt guilty for having enough when so many had too little. But all that was behind Ida. Now that her missionary family had returned to America because of her father's poor health, she loved the comforts of America, where there was always seemed to be plenty of food to go around. Ida Scudder decided never to return to India. She wanted to live an easy life in the land of plenty. She never, ever, ever wanted to go back to India. Ever. And if you went up and talked to her and said, Ida Scudder, you're going to be a missionary to India, she would say, no, I'm not. Nope. So now we see Ida. She's 21 years old. Sorry. Messed up. It's okay. The girls giggled as they crowded into the secret meeting place. The furnace room was the perfect spot for the bunch to examine their loot. Florence had borrowed the headmistress's pen, and Annie had a pot from the school kitchen. Uh-oh, they're probably going to get in trouble. I've got you all beat, exclaimed Ida, as her hand slipped into her pocket. These screws are right from the front gate of the seminary. Just wait till the headmistress comes through the gate. With that, the entire group dissolved into laughter. Borrowing and later returning items was just one of the many pranks the bunch had pulled during their 4 years at D.L. Moody's Seminary for Girls. But now the graduation was nearing. The girls' thoughts turned towards marriage and settling down. You guys are young. You're not thinking about that now. But Ida was. Ida, too, had dreams of a secure life with her own Prince Charming in America. Her dreams were interrupted by bad news from her parents, who had returned to their work in India. Ida's father needed her to come and care for her mother, who was quite ill. You're going to be a missionary just like the rest of your family, teased Florence. Ida's anger flared. Oh, no, I won't. I will never be a missionary. You'll see, I'll be back in 1 year. I wonder what's going to happen. Do you guys think that she's going to come back and be a missionary or not? Her heart was very hard, but she traveled to India and Once back in India, 21-year-old Ida helped her parents in their mission work, but secretly she planned her escape. She thought, I'm going to get out of here as soon as I possibly can. Once Mama's all better, I'm out. I'm never going to stay a missionary in India. But one night, Ida had settled in her room to enjoy a book. As she turned the pages, her mind drifted to her plans to return to America to marry Mr. Wright and live out her days in a land of opportunity. The quick footsteps. Oh, who's at the door? Brought Ida back to the present. She looked up to see a young Hindu man trying to get her attention. My wife is having our first baby, and something is wrong, he blurted out. I was told you can help. I'm not a doctor, but my father is. He'll help you. The young man's face fell in sadness. Our religion does not permit a man to look at my wife's face. Ida implored him, but without my father's help, she may die. In disbelief, Ida watched the man's sad eyes drop to the floor as he turned to leave, whispering, all is lost. That night, a Hindu man came to Ida with the same request. Help me! Help me! He left the same way. There was a third man that came with the same request. Please help me. My wife needs a doctor. If she doesn't have a doctor, she may die and my baby may die. And she asked him, won't you let me help you? Won't you let my father help you? He's the doctor. I'm not a doctor. Will you please let me help? Or let him help? Let him look at her. He said, no, it's against my religion. Ida spent a sleepless night praying for guidance. She felt she met God that night, and he was calling her to abandon her plans and follow him. The next morning, Ida learned that all 3 women died during the night. These senseless deaths occurred all because there was no female doctor. As a little girl, Ida hadn't had enough bread to feed the starving children. But now she knew there was a way to help the hurting women. Ida Scudder prayed aloud, God, if you want me to stay in India, I will spend the rest of my life trying to help these women. Once she chose to follow God's call, Ida never looked back. She returned to America to attend Cornell Medical School in 1899. Dr. Ida Scudder was ready to begin her work in India to help the medical people. Ooh, skipped that one. So that's her at graduation and her on the field. These are real pictures of her, of Miss Ida Scudder. Ida examined the large open sore on the boy's leg. Why didn't you bring your son sooner? She asked his mother. Ida was thrilled that the women were finally trusting her enough and coming to the clinic. But why did they sometimes wait so long? I thought it was the image of a God growing there. Now we know that's not true, right, boys and girls? That doesn't happen. But their belief, they have a very sad belief. They believe in other gods. They don't know the one true God. And that's something that Miss Scudder had to face, was trying to tell them there's only one true God, and he doesn't do that to people. Everyone told me I would anger the gods if I even touched it. Can you help him? Ida sadly sent the mother away. It was too late for her to help the poor suffering boy. The superstitions the people believed were keeping them from coming to her in time. She had to think of a way to resolve this problem. Ida's roadsides were the answer. With an ox and a wagon full of medical supplies, Ida traveled to the remote villages to treat the people where they lived. She would always pray for those she visited and ask them if they had any questions about Jesus or Christianity. Ida set her mind to train women as nurses and doctors so they could help themselves. Though no one believed the women would be able to pass the final doctor's exam, Ida pressed on. When the scores were finally tallied, all 14 of her students had passed. Ida's dream of teaching the Indian women to help themselves were becoming reality. Ida helped start the Vorel Christian Medical College and Hospital, which is still around today. And that was a really long time ago. Which is today known around the world for excellent research, healthcare, and disease prevention. Their Bible classes are held in 9 different languages, and chaplains pray with their patients. Dr. Ida Scudder, who once promised never to work in India, left a legacy that continues to touch millions of lives each year. Now I'm going to show you one slide and we're going to read a Bible verse. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? This is an interesting verse, because when you really think about it, what do you mean by that? Whosoever will save his life shall lose it? That's weird, especially to the world. Let's remember, Ida never wanted to be a missionary. She didn't want to give her life in the hard field of India. But she decided, if I lose my life for Christ, I'm going to find life. Boys and girls, sometimes our way is not the best way. Our will, I'm going to do this, and nobody can tell me otherwise. I'm going to be this, and God can't tell me otherwise. That's dangerous, boys and girls. That is so dangerous. I'm not going to go here. I'm going to do this instead. Oh, it's against God? It's not going to work out. You're not going to have peace. You're not going to have joy. You're going to be miserable. It's not going to go well. Did you know something, boys and girls? Ida, if she was surrendered to go, she would not have had to hear 3 knocks. God used 3 knocks to get her attention. And I'm sure she wished, oh, I wish I would have surrendered to God's plan. If God wanted me in India, I'll go, Lord. But only if you want me to go. Instead of saying, nope, not me. I'm not going there. I'm going to stay where I can go to the store anytime I want and get food. I'm not going to spend my life in the hard places where there's not running water, where there's a lot of sickness. Now, boys and girls, you have a choice too. Some of you are telling God, nope, I'm not going to do what you want. I'm going to do what I want. Is that the attitude we should have? No. No, it should be, Lord, I'm willing to do what you want me to do. If you want me to be a missionary, I'll be a missionary. If you want me to be a teacher, I'll be a teacher. If you want me to be a police officer, I'll be a police officer. I want what you want. I want to do what God wants me to do. So I have one more question for you. One more thing to think about it. How about you? How about in your own life? Are you willing to go? Are you willing to take the gospel, even if it's to India? Even if it's across the street? That sometimes can be scary. Giving out tracts and spreading the gospel can be scary sometimes. But if we have God with us and we're willing to go, He'll help us do it. I hope you guys learned some things about Ida Scudder and her work in India. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you guys will remember to be willing to go and do whatever God wants you to do. We're going to go ahead and close our eyes and bow our heads. We're going to pray and talk to the Lord. Lord, thank